stared at my inbox for years, pretending it was my to-do list. That is dumb. The way I use my inbox should not be the planning tool that I'm using. I'm so connected to my values. I'm so connected to my goals. I'm so connected to my plan. It helps me go, yes, that fits. No, that doesn't fit. Yes, that fits. That's a next quarter problem. That's a delete. That's an unsubscribe. It just makes all of those micro decisions about emails that we make every single day so much easier. Your discipline is going to be so much easier when this plan feels alive and not imposed. I love planning. I love it. I love feeling this sense of accomplishment that comes with having a really good plan. What I haven't been so good at over the last periods of time until I worked out this Your Plan process was executing my plan. And in the non-execution of the plan, I started to get very despondent. I thought that planning didn't work. I thought that planning didn't work for me. It became much easier just to continue to react to the situations of the moment. And inevitably, what happens when you continue to react to the situations of the moment is that you work harder and you hustle more, you become resentful and you're exhausted. Because instead of taking things out of the plan, you put more things into the plan and you lose sight of what is truly precious, meaningful, and valuable. So I want to share with you in this video today how this process came about and how I've used it myself and how I have helped many of my coaching clients and supervision clients develop this into something that they find useful and they find powerful. So the first thing we've got to let go of is this myth of the perfect plan. I had a beautiful client, coaching client, and she once showed me the pile of planners that she had purchased looking for the perfect plan for her. Yes, I know she's not the only one out there because I did a post about that on social media and lots of people said, yeah, I have that many as well. But that's overwhelming. That's completely overwhelming. And then trying to find the perfect planning tool for you. Well, let me share with you, the perfect planning tool for you is going to be the perfect planning tool that allows you to execute your plan without fatigue, without exhaustion, without going broke, that integrates all of your life. Okay? So if you think you need the perfect plan for you, that's what you're actually looking for. So we as people and humans tend to completely overestimate what we can achieve in 12 months and completely underestimate what we can do in 5 years. Now, this is a well-known, well-studied fact, which I'm not going to provide you research evidence for because that's just boring. But most people, you could talk to your own clients about this, most people will overestimate what they can do in a year and completely underestimate what they can do in 5. But if we don't start learning how to plan in that 12-month period, then how on earth can we expect ourselves to be planning in a 5-year stretch? I just kept adding and adding and adding and adding and adding to my plan, thinking that working harder, hustling harder was going to lead to the results. It didn't. It led to confusion and it led to me chasing silver bullets because I was living in chronic exhaustion. Now, I've let go of a 5-year plan because since 2020, which for me was the year of COVID and cancer, I had to spend time rediscovering how to plan. And this process works even when you have significant interruptions to your life, like I happened to 5 years ago. No way 5 years ago would I have expected to still be living with chronic uncontrolled migraine and central sensitivity and chronic fatigue following cancer treatment. I expected that to be done after 12 months. So if I had tried to develop a 5-year plan back in 2020, I would be living in even more disappointment, more resentment, disappointment, I've said that, sadness, and I'm pretty sure I would have constantly been telling myself that I had failed, which I haven't. I'd never been through COVID before. I'd never been through cancer before. I'd never sold my business before. I had no idea what to expect. So I create a 1-year planning tool. It's not a scheduler. It is a planning tool. It's like a coaching tool to help you get really clear about what needs to go in your plan for the next 12 months. And there's space in it for you to go, well, that's now next year's problem, or that's now a problem for another day. Now, I'm also very good at over planning and under resting. So one of the new features that has turned up for me now is that how much rest and self-care goes into my plan. Now, I quantify that on a weekly basis, but I'm also now starting to use things like a smartwatch to help me feel like I'm making progress with my health. Because when we can't see progress towards goal completion or goal attainment, we give up on them. And I have been very close to giving up on my goal attainment around my health all of this year. But then when I give myself permission to review what is actually changing and where I can see progress being made, sometimes progress doesn't turn up the way I think it's going to turn up either. And that is also one of the powerful things about this Your Plan planning process. So I used to overplan, under rest, and then I would accuse myself of being undisciplined, when the real problem was unrealistic pacing. And that was a pattern of behavior that this Your Plan planning process highlighted for me 2 years ago. So once it was highlighted and once we have awareness, I can't ignore it. I can choose to do something with that new information. So the Your Plan isn't about perfection. It's about finding your rhythm. It's about finding a way of working, of living that works for you. Now, the second thing I really needed to apprehend was hustle doesn't equate to progress. I can assure you in the last 5 years, I have been more focused, yet I have been unwell. I have achieved more towards my goals than I ever have because hustle is no longer safe for me. There are periods of time in every person's life where you will want to hustle. I can't hustle right now. It is a huge trigger for me and it sets me off in all sorts of neurological ways. It is not safe for my nervous system, so we just don't do it. Doing more was my control center. My culture and my family of origin taught me to work harder, do more, work harder, do more, work harder, do more, and you will get to where you want to go. It's wrong. It does not work in this day and age. Nobody needs to be getting up at 4 a.m. and exercising for 2 hours, unless that's something that adds to your rhythm or is a part of your rhythm. So I had to learn how to pause and reflect each quarter so that my actions became more strategic, not slower. Because when I kept adding and adding and adding and adding, nothing was being done properly. When you give yourself permission to slow down, it becomes very clear the things you don't do now, that you don't do in this quarter, that maybe you don't do in this year. You actually can't sprint a marathon. So the review process that is built into this Your Plan, it's there every 12 weeks, every quarter, is the breath that you have between the miles when you are running this marathon. Another thing that is really important about this Your Plan planning process is that it reconnects you with what really matters. And this is the way you tell if this Your Plan is actually yours. Now, we are very good as clinicians to adopt goals that belong to other people. These might be previous bosses or peers or those extremely helpful people in other Facebook groups. They may be professional norms. They may be things you were taught at graduate school or university. They may be things that you are seeing other people do. The Your Plan will help you reconnect to your own values and not someone else's checklist. Now, when I say values, there is a values elicitation exercise in this Your Plan, but it's not called that because I have to hack our smarts as health professionals. And I know that when you see the word values, you go, I know what my values are. And you think they're a corporate list. But I can assure you, when you start working with the Your Plan planner, some of those words that you think are your values are not really your values. And that's okay. But once you know that, you can stop living someone else's script, right? So if your plan doesn't feel like you're going to stick with it. My plans for a really long time were fed by what I thought my mentors and coaches wanted to see in my plan. And then they would get frustrated with me, and I would feel like they were blaming me for not bringing my plans and my goals to fruition. I'd actually set that up. They weren't pushing me. They were saying, this is what you said you wanted to do. Why aren't you doing it? And that's because I wasn't aligned to what I said I wanted to achieve. Being very open, vulnerable here right now. There is a secret ingredient built into the Your Plan. It's called checking in, not checking out. So if you haven't picked up your planning tool since January of 2025, then now is the time to do that. I'm actually going to be making an offer at the end of this video for you to come to a quarterly review that's happening, and we'll just do it together. And it doesn't matter that it's November or, heading into December. Now's the perfect time to start learning how to do this so that come 2026, you're going to be in a much better position. So in checking in, I do this every week. So on a Sunday, usually on an afternoon, usually on my couch, usually when all the things are done, I will have my planner open and I will review the week that was. I will review the things that I said I wanted to do against the things that didn't get done. This weekly check-in helps me to see where I'm overcommitted, where I'm over-functioning, because they are behavioral tendencies for me. It also shows me where I'm not investing the right time and energy. Where I'm not investing time and energy on the right things at the right time. So this weekly check-in keeps me connected. And if you've seen previous videos I've done this, you'll have noticed I've got a couple of videos out calling, I lost my planner. When I am not connected to my plans and my goals and my dreams and my desires, I feel kind of lost, untethered. And that does not go well for me. I tend to make unwise decisions, and I can be very selfish in that act. So these weekly check-ins, they're going to apprehend burnout, and they're going to help us course correct much faster than annual reviews, So reflection isn't an indulgence. It is actually maintenance of this planning process. The other tool that is built into this Your Plan planning process is mindset meets real life, because you're not undisciplined. You're not lacking in discipline. People love to blame themselves for not sticking to a plan when the issue is disconnection, not willpower. So I stared at my inbox for years, pretending it was my to-do list. That is dumb. The way I use my inbox should not be a reflection of should not be the planning tool that I'm using. That's not the way I've set my inbox up. What I need to be able to do is go to my email at specific times of the day and go, now is the time for me to work on email management. Then from the information that has come in on that day, I'm so connected to my values. I'm so connected to my goals. I'm so connected to my plan. It helps me go, yes, that fits. No, that doesn't fit. Yes, that fits. That's a next quarter problem. That's a delete. That's an unsubscribe. It just makes all of those micro decisions about emails that we make every single day so much easier. Your discipline is going to be so much easier when this plan feels alive and not imposed. Because this planning tool has a weekly and a quarterly review in there, and it's natural and organic, it doesn't feel over-engineered, it helps you reset when the world goes sideways and it looks like your plan isn't relevant anymore. So I've explained to you before many times that the year of 2020 was when the world went sideways for me. And for many of you watching this video, 2020 as health professionals, God, our world went sideways. This happens to me on an almost weekly basis now, where I am not well enough to do the things I said I wanted to do in a day, and I have to cancel them. But this tool and this planning process is now so habituated in me that I have been able to change my mindset from I'm failing, I'm so far behind, to, I have a migraine today. It is unreasonable for me to do that type of activity today. Therefore, I will reset once this migraine has finished. Now, that to me is like at a micro level, and I can apply that to a macro level. So if, for argument's sake, somebody came to me and said, "Joe, we would love for you to come and present at our conference in Hawaii next year. We're going to pay for your speaking fees, accommodation, airfares, and we're going to give you a stipend for food and beverages," I would want to say yes to that. Now, I can assure you it's not in my plan, because I don't actually know if I'm well enough to do that now. But if that offer was made to me and it was in alignment with my values, I would change other things in my planning process, in my the way I'm managing myself, reflected in my plan, to enable me to do that successfully. So the idea of all of these reviews, the quarterly reviews, acts as a compassionate recalibration. It's not a punishment. It's the language in this thing is positive. The language in this tool is all about what can we do differently next time? Because that is how we teach ourselves to be flexible and agile. Because most of us are stuck in extremely concrete, black and white thinking. We're health professionals, we're clinicians. It's what we do all day. But we need to adopt greater flexibility so that we perceive change not as a failure, but as an opportunity and as a self-care action. So there are results that you will get from this planning tool that you may not have ever experienced before. So when you consistently use your plan, you will find out what you want to focus on. So you will become more focused, which will allow you to put your time, energy, and money on the things that matter. And because you're reliving this and reconnecting with this every week, it makes those micro decisions that we have to make every day so much easier. So it's so much easier for me now to go, I won't do that on a Friday. In fact, I don't want to see clients on a Friday at all. In fact, I don't want to do anything taxing on a Friday. I need Fridays as a rest day so that I can enjoy my family on the weekend, because that has now become a really high priority for me. So in using this process, I know that I have become clearer, I am calmer, and I am more focused without resentment. I have had many people give me feedback about this planner. It is a tool that I have used with a lot of clients, and it previously was only available to my clients. And I have continued to iterate and make improvements to this tool, and the improvements for 2026 are pretty outstanding. Thank you very much. Some of the feedback that I have received is things like, I've stopped second guessing what mattered. I've stopped second guessing my own decision making. I've stopped second guessing my own abilities. Imagine being able to walk away from a 12-month process and go, hey, I didn't meet all of those other targets, but I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel like I failed. In fact, what I have learned this year is that I totally overestimated what it was I wanted to achieve, and I can now make changes for 2026 based on that information. Planning at its root is freedom disguised as structure. The other thing that's really powerful for me to have learned is that this Your Plan works really well for neurodivergent people as well. And I think that's because working as a rehabilitation counsellor for so long, I am used to making tools and ways of working that are accessible to multiple people. Now, this might not be your perfect planning tool. I want you to take this thing and make it yours. But I have worked with many neurodivergent people who have said this is the best planning tool because it takes away, it doesn't add more stuff in. Planning makes space for joy, not just tasks. So there's a part of this planner at the beginning of the year where I ask you to write down 52 things that are fun or interesting or bucket list items that could be as small as walking on the grass and as big as learning to scuba dive or take a trip somewhere. But 52 things you would like to do in a year or that could be possible in a year. And this is to help you rediscover small joys. But it also allows you to reconnect to things outside of your work and your to-do lists and your function that bring you joy. Because we know that in joy and happiness, our resilience grows. That's why this particular part of this thing is so important. And in the planner, will give you instructions on how to complete that, or you can come and join me in one of my sessions that I run for people who want to do this collaboratively with other people. So you're not just planning for productivity, you are designing a life you like being a part of. So why does this process work? Because I really want to help you understand, will this process work for you? It will, if you do it. This is not about manifesting. It's about clarity, constraint, and commitment. Now, I've used the word constraint there, and some of you gone, oh, I want it to be really flexible and open. Actually, no, you don't. Trust me for the first 12 months, and you will learn how to peel off what is unnecessary. Peel off those extra things that are actually sabotaging your success. So this Your Plan was built by someone who knows that life rarely follows a spreadsheet. That's me, in case you're wondering. You can always review a client's progress, right? You write a progress note for your client every time you see them, or I'm expecting that you will. You can review yourself, but if you overthink it, it won't get done. So I've made it easy for you. 10 minutes on a Sunday is all it's going to take. And then 2 hours every quarter, and then 4 hours once a year. Because that's how much time it takes for you to get reconnected to yourself. But it's not really that big, is it? When you think about it in the scheme of the whole year, 4, 10, plus the 10 minutes. Yeah, that's not a lot of time. Your plan will keep you anchored in chaos. Now, we know things will change. We can't predict how they're going to change. Governments will make new decisions about how they're going to fund here in Australia. That's happening quite a lot. Insurance providers are going to change in the USA because we know that's going to happen. So we have a framework within the Your Plan called the WOWS framework, and we focus on wealth, others, work, and self. WOWS, did you see that? We also use a word of the year, which acts like a compass when the world feels unpredictable. And you'll be surprised when you do this review process throughout Your Plan, how your word of the year turns up, possibly in ways you didn't think it would. So when everything else is changing around you, your plan helps you remember who you are and where you're going. So I look forward to sharing this review opportunity coming to you on the 6th of November in 2025. And in that particular 2-hour workshop, we'll be reviewing Q3 for 2025. And you will be the first people to be offered the 2026 Your Plan with special discounts into the 4-hour planning process that I'm going to take you through for 2026. So get in touch with me if you'd like to be a part of this, because I would love to share this with you.